And I also think that the rebellion space is kind of taken up now by Bernie Sanders and AOC, getting, energized crowds in the tens of thousands. All due respect, Cenk, I'm a fan of yours. I don't expect that you'd be getting much more than, in the hundreds, maybe the low thousands. I don't see you, steaming them up. Maybe a lot's changed since I've heard you speak to crowds, but.
He just craps on it about the Bernie Sanders crowd sizes and Cenk's speaking to crowds. I can't resist it. Okay, so most of what Geraldo's saying is boilerplate, pundit. Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro probably would defeat Trump. It's so embarrassing in their country. There's any risk of a person like Trump having power overall. But, that's a tired reaction what I just shared because we have to solve this issue somehow. But anyway, then he brings up the Sanders campaign and AOC stuff and sort of thinking of the rebellion concept as a territorial marketing ploy, which I'm sure all these guys is how their heads work. The world's richest guy who hailed Hitler on his first day has been rampaging throughout the government, destroying institutions and, doing things that are certainly against how the Constitution is supposed to function in terms of what sorts of decisions get to be made, especially on Social Security Administration stuff and messing with people's lives and ruining people's ability to access what little resources they have as in a time of rising prices on everything, because we have to sustain the greed filter at every single stage of every single transaction. You don't get to exist in a world that's affordable. They made being alive expensive because that's good for profits for sociopaths. Anyway, so like the idea that AOC and Bernie are in some way fomenting a rebellion of any kind is absurd. They're speaking about as ordinarily as you could in any situation. It's a shame to us all that there's so little of what they're doing, in my opinion. It seems very, I hate to use the term common sense because that's one of those bamboozly words, but it seems incredibly common sense that when these psychos are destroying your society, you should resist them. You should fight them. We lived on an island with 100 people, and one of the people had 60 coconuts and gave 3 coconuts to a small group to enforce violently that the bottom 60% doesn't get to have anything other than a sliver of a coconut. Eventually, that bottom 60 to 80 people going to get together, do something about it, and then the population of the island goes down to 99 people. We should, I'm not suggesting any kind, tax billionaires out of existence, fight overwhelming power, restrict power at all stages. Anyway, but it's hilarious that Geraldo is digging at Cenk on this, and Cenk is holding his composure, which is fine. It would have been funny if he freaked out. So, which made me think, I tweeted this, but this is from TYT. April 1st is when I posted it, but Cenk butthurt at being iced out of Bernie Sanders and AOC's LA rally, speculates Bernie caught feelings and is clearly jealous. Bernie goes on shows that argued against him. And of course, I'm getting under Cenk's skin. Maybe not. But could be Sanders knows associating with union busters is bad politics. CC Rokana, Nina Turner. Are they ever going to deal with this? Face it head on? But let's listen to what Cenk says.
Screech said, Bernie's coming to LA. Would someone with a membership ask Cenk if he will join Bernie when he comes into town, please? Screech, you're in the YouTube member section, so you just asked me. No, Bernie, I don't know. Look, I agree nearly 100% with what Bernie's doing now, and I've agreed, 95, 98% with what he's done throughout his career.
He didn't agree with card check. That's in the film. Opens with Bernie explaining it.
And I don't know if he caught feelings, but I see him going on shows that argued against them over and over and over.
That caught feelings, actually, I looked it up on the Urban Dictionary. It also means romantic feelings. So maybe Bernie's just like, I'm feeling very attracted to you, and I just don't. Do you? You're so ugly. I can't get away from you. Like he's like a 12-year-old that doesn't know how to deal with it.
Over and over and over again. But again, I'm not obsessed with guests. But
no, he's not obsessed with guests. That's for sure.
But no, he's not coming on, and I'm not going to that tour. I would, but you should ask Bernie about it. Okay, all right. Oh, I'll get to super chat next time.
Yeah,
We'll be right.
he's butthurt about it. Butthurt's the right word. That's some butthurt there. Funny stuff. I was at a Bernie Sanders rally filming Cenk as a getting paid as my day rate as a field producer cameraman for TYT. This is from film stuff I filmed on my phone. Irvine, California, 2016. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders introduced by future union buster Cenk Uygur. I don't have all this footage. I wish I had more. I might be able to get a little bit more of it somewhere, but so I did add some editing to this in terms of I put some labels on there, so we're going to see that obviously. But I worked with, this is when I was running around the country with Jimmy Dore. I was actually in a Bernie Sanders motorcade. We met him at an airport. Plane lands, all these reporters pile out. There's all these like security trucks and like white vans for the reporters. It's this huge thing to go on a very high profile presidential candidate motorcade. And we drove up a major LA highway with the police escort. We were in a white van, me and Jimmy. We were in California. They just flown in from Puerto Rico. And these reporters were all kind of like just tired. I don't remember any of them. We kind of chatted a little bit, but you could tell they were exhausted. It's a lot of work to chase around a presidential candidate. It's a lot of travel. You know how tiring travel is, fucking airports and stuff, no matter what. It's always exhausting. And so, but I got to be in a motorcade to go to this event actually. So we were in the press area. They had this staked out spot. It was like CNN, New York Times, or, you know, MSNBC, the Young Turks. And it was pretty interesting. So I took this footage and I added a little bit to it. Now that's Cenk on stage saying the next president of the United States of America. So he's the guy who brings Bernie on stage to give you a sense of where he was to now he isn't even in touch with Bernie Sanders and is telling the camera to tell other people to talk to see what's going on with it. So like that's how far he's come, how much that Velcro has been split off, ripped apart. So I'll just rewind it. That's Cenk introducing Bernie Sanders, and then he goes up on stage, and it is a powerful feeling. Every episode can't get through one without saying it, but I did stand-up comedy. I know what it's like to be on a stage and to have a whole room full of people going nuts because you're the person causing that, and then it's pretty crazy. One time, like at Zany's, I remember I had a great set. People are because you have to walk through the crowd, and they're like high-fiving you. Like I've experienced versions of this. A lot of people have maybe done speeches, given plays, been on stage, whatever. But when you do stand up, you're up there by yourself. It's thrilling. It's really powerful feeling. So I can get where someone with Cenk's ego and his, delusions of grandeur, his ambitions and stuff like that would want to get back into this kind of scenario, but those days are long gone. So here we go. Good camera work. Now there's Bernie. Hello. Shaking hands with a union buster.
Are you a union buster?
No, I'm definitely not a union buster.
What a liar. Look at that screen. Look at all the evidence of him union busting while he says, oh no. But anyway, so Bernie comes on stage, walks over to the Cenk. I added those labels, like I said, those were not on them while I filmed this. And so, yeah, Cenk is there at the rally. And this is among the reasons why he's butthurt about it. We're not going to play it again. And then that's why it's funny that Geraldo just ribbed him about it. So that's...